What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over 10 games that are still releasing in 2022 and what I quickly think about each of them. And starting just in order here, Sonic Frontiers comes out just this upcoming week on the 8th. Hoping for the absolute best for this game. It's always given me, personally, mixed vibes, but people that were actually able to play it, going back months and months and months ago, have always said they actually enjoyed it. The game seems fun to them, so that's great, and I hope that I'm recording this before reviews are out. Hopefully reviews are solid, and hopefully the game does really well, because the day after is the behemoth. God of War Ragnarok on November 9th. Not much to be said here that hasn't already been said. It's expected to be a Game of the Year contender, ending the Norse mythology, big sequel to a gigantic PlayStation franchise, and I'm obviously hoping for the best and cannot wait to actually get my hands on it. Next up is one that probably is going to slip under a lot of people's radar, and that's Somerville on November 15th. This is a Xbox game on Xbox One and Series S and X, and also comes out on PC, and it's on Game Pass. And this is from a studio called Jump Ship, which is actually compiled of people that worked on Inside and Limbo, and the founders of Jump Ship also founded those studios back in the day. So this is, and you could probably tell based off what you're watching, this is a game that very much should remind you of Inside and Limbo. I think it's going to go under the radar. I think the promotion for this game has been abysmal by both them and even Xbox. But, again, being on Game Pass, coming out the week after God of War and Sonic, that could hurt. But, you know, maybe the being free aspect could help this game out. And hopefully, word of mouth helps this game out. Because if this game is as good as Inside or Limbo, and both of them are phenomenal games, then I think word of mouth could carry, you know, a game like this. Just a few days after that is the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me. It actually releases the same day as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is a gigantic, I'm not super duper into it. My wife and daughter are actually going to be getting Pokemon. That's an honorable mention, and technically 11 on this list. That game does look good, but The Devil in Me interests me slightly more. Obviously, the newest, anthology game, yearly releases. They've been on their way up. Their last game, House of Ashes, was pretty darn solid. It was probably their best game since Until Dawn. I'm hoping they nail it, but certain things are really starting to get a little bit old with it in terms of how you play the game, and even the visual look. Every year, it ages just a little bit worse because it's still the same kind of engine and everything, going back, really, it seems, from Until Dawn. So hopefully the game's good. Hopefully it's the best of the 4 games in the anthology. A few days after, 4 days technically, on November 22nd, is Evil West, another game I do think is going to fly kind of under the radar. Being published by Focus Entertainment. These guys are on a roll. They just published Plague Tale Requiem. Evil West does look awesome. Again, I feel like it could go under the radar because it comes out after what I just said, all of these games. And realistically, games like Pokemon, that takes up a lot of people's, kind of word of mouth. God of War Ragnarok, these are big games. Evil West, not a big game, but does look really fun. The combat looks awesome. It's a kind of story-driven game, a little bit linear, so I'm looking forward to it. It looks like the best of, I've seen people compare it to Doom Eternal is the first one that I at least compare it to, but even like Gears of War looks pretty similar in that regard as well. So hopefully this is a fun one, and fun and different enough where it can stand out, because then a week after that is Warhammer 40k Darktide. That's on November 30th. Now the thing with this is, if you remember, the console version, it's an Xbox exclusive, at least at launch on console, it was delayed, and it was delayed indefinitely, so it doesn't have a date. So November 30th, this game just comes out on PC. And from what we've seen so far, I've always really liked how this game looks. I'm not actually even a Warhammer 40k fan at all. I know nothing about it, but it does look, this game looks fantastic. And there were people, YouTubers, influencers, all sorts of different people that were able to play the game, I want to say about 2-3 weeks ago, and it looked solid. It seemed like the general consensus from those people was that it is a good game, it was fun, they liked it, it needs more polish time. It actually, I've seen actually a couple of people say it should be delayed so it could be worked on a little bit more so it runs well at launch. It's not delayed yet, and it comes out in just a few weeks, so hopefully they get it all working by then. But this is an exciting game. My PC probably can handle it. I don't even know if I want to, attempt it, so I was kind of going to wait until it came out on Series X, but that's indefinite, so I'll have to settle either for the PC release or not get it at all. Then, on December 2nd, there's 3, I guess another honorable mention, so we'll go to 12 here, but I want to talk about 2 in particular. Callisto Protocol Midnight Suns, Marvel's Midnight Suns, and Need for Speed Unbound. Need for Speed is the honorable mention. I've never been too big of a Need for Speed fan. Honestly, every time a Need for Speed game comes out, I hope that it's the one to kind of pull me in. And while this one does look pretty different and pretty cool, and I really have nothing I can say right now like against it, coming out the same day as 2 other games that I'm really excited for, and I plan on getting both, I'm not going to drop money on 3 games on the exact same day. That's just too much. So one of them has to go. Maybe to some people, 2 of them have to go. And so Need for Speed is out. The other 2, Callisto Protocol. This is one of those games, just like God of War kind of, everything's been said about it. So this game looks phenomenal. Obviously from the creator of Dead Space. This game should give off a lot of Dead Space vibes. Horror's back, and it looks fantastic. It does look scary. There was a preview event, a final preview event that went up on this game just about a week or so ago, and they really liked it as well. It just seems like it's going to be a really, really good horror game, and a game that, again, should give off those Dead Space vibes and hopefully spans a franchise. And then Marvel's Midnight Suns, I'm into it. This is one of those games I just think is going to be very divisive. I don't think it's made for everybody, and I'm sure that not everybody's going to like it, right? Using the cards as the combat. It gives off, and it should give off at least a little bit of XCOM vibes. Obviously, it's actually quite a bit different, more different than we thought it would be than XCOM, but I'm into it. And to have a Marvel game, but to have it in a different genre and different play style entirely than Guardians and Spider-Man and all that, I'm into it. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, which one do I play first? If I were to rank them, I am more excited for Callisto than I am Midnight Suns. But Midnight Suns is one of those games I feel you can kind of jump in, jump out whenever. Callisto Protocol, obviously kind of straightforward story game, 10, 15 hours. So if I can just get through that in a day or 2, probably not a day, probably 2 or 3 days, then I can, do Midnight Suns literally whenever. So that's kind of how I'm going to approach it. Final 2, you get a little bit of a break after December 2nd. The week after is actually the Game Awards, so that's exciting. And then on December 13th, the last 2 that are, prominent in my mind come out that ends the year. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, looks phenomenal, and I've never actually played the original Crisis Core game, so this is one that I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm kind of a new age Final Fantasy fan, jumped on the bandwagon late, but I'm here now, and I'm happy to be here. I love Final Fantasy VII Remake. I love the Intergrade DLC, so I'm looking forward to Reunion, even if it's a remaster. Still looking forward to it quite a bit, and again, to me, that's, if we were to rank these 2 games, the second game is High on Life, which again comes out the same day. This is another Xbox exclusive, Xbox One, Series S and X, also comes out on PC. I believe it's also on Game Pass, so that's going to help the game. I imagine it would help the game. And, this one has had some, divisiveness, let's say, online. It looks solid. I'm really not expecting much from it. I'm expecting some laughs. From what we've seen so far, the laughs are pretty, like the comedy is pretty good. It does get on people's nerves, it seems, in select pockets of Twitter and YouTube. So, comedy's probably not going to work for everybody, but we'll see. The gameplay, I guess, is what kind of scares me. From what we've seen of, like, the one major boss battle in that game, did not look good at all. It looked very repetitive, so we'll see how the entire game is. Honestly, I'm not even really going in with the expectation the gameplay is going to be great. I kind of just want to laugh and have fun. Just have a fun little game right before Christmas, free. It's on Game Pass. You don't lose anything but time by doing it. And I will not be playing that before Crisis Core. So Crisis Core would come first, and then High on Life would come after that. And that's it. So counting the honorable mentions, you got 12 games still, and I missed some. I didn't count Hello Neighbor 2. I didn't count a couple of them. That's a lot. A lot of games still coming in less than 2 months, and so prepare your wallets for all of that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. I hope to see you all on the next one.